If you ask when India's fight for freedom began, most accounts point to the uprisings of 1857. However, decades before those events, a group of Tamil warrior chiefs had already taken up arms against the British East India Company. In 1757, while the company consolidated power in Bengal up north, a separate conflict emerged in the deep south. Here, authority was decentralized, governed by Polygars or Polygars. These regional lords controlled the land, managed local revenue, and maintained their own standing armies. To extract wealth from the region, the East India Company backed a regional ruler, the Nawab of Arcot, and tasked him with forcing these chieftains to pay taxes. The Polygars refused. They drew a hard line against the company's financial demands and territorial reach. By cutting off tax revenue and resisting the Nawab, these local lords presented the East India Company with its first major systemic challenge on the subcontinent. Puli Thevar, the chieftain of Nair Khatam Seval, was among the first to organize a systematic military resistance. Between 1755 and 1767, he ignored every demand for tribute sent by the company-backed Nawab, effectively operating outside colonial law. Thevar was a strategist. He built alliances with other regional factions to create a unified front that successfully blocked the company's advance for years. This led to a decade of combat. Thevar's coalition engaged in heavy campaigns against company forces, equipped with superior artillery and European training. Another chieftain, Maveeran Alagumuthu Kone, led a simultaneous war against the company's expansion throughout the 1750s. Kone fought until 1759, eventually dying in battle after repeatedly refusing to surrender or pay the required tribute. While these men remain foundational figures in the history of Tamil Nadu, their actions are largely absent from the broader Indian historical record. The idea of a single first freedom fighter is complicated. In the 1750s, a unified Indian national identity had not yet formed. However, these Tamil Polygars were among the first to engage in sustained warfare against the company, a century before the 1857 revolt. Their story was erased. The resistance was localized, suppressed, and physically overshadowed by the massive national movements that arrived later. Historical narratives often focus on the globally recognized leaders who emerged in the 20th century. This is because the later struggle was defined by mass mobilization and widespread organization across the entire subcontinent. The path to 1947 traces back through these localized sparks, from the southern Polygars to the sepoys of 1857, and finally into a national movement. The story of Indian independence begins here, with regional chieftains who decided to never submit.